Imagine one of the most famous movie stars in history, known for her stunning eyes and incredible acting, showing a side of herself that shocked the world. That is exactly what happened with Elizabeth Taylor when some of her old bikini photos surfaced. People could not stop talking. Some loved them, some were upset, and some just could not believe what they were seeing. But why did these photos cause such a stir, even decades after they were taken? And what do they tell us about the way people viewed women back then? Stay with us, because this story is full of surprises. Elizabeth Taylor was not just a regular actress. She was a superstar in the 1950s and 60s, winning Oscars and starring in films that people still remember today. She was admired for her acting, her beauty, and her charm. But at the same time, she lived in a world where Hollywood had strict rules about how women should appear in public. Back then, showing too much skin could cause serious backlash. Even stars who seemed fearless on screen had to be careful. And that is exactly why the bikini photos became a big deal. These photos showed Elizabeth Taylor in a bikini, enjoying the sun and the beach. But the public reaction was intense. Newspapers called the images scandalous, and some adults said they were too bold. People were not used to seeing a famous actress looking so relaxed and casual in a swimsuit. It is easy to forget that bikinis were not as common back then as they are now. Today, we see bikinis everywhere at the beach or in magazines, but in the 1950s, they were still considered daring. For someone as famous as Elizabeth Taylor, wearing one in public photos felt like breaking a rule. But it was not just about the swimsuit. It was about freedom and self-expression. Elizabeth Taylor did not ask anyone's permission to enjoy the sun, have fun, or show confidence in her body. That made some people uncomfortable. And that is why these photos caused so much discussion. Fans, however, had mixed feelings. Many admired her for being confident and glamorous. They saw a star who was not afraid to live her life fully, even if others judged her. Others criticized the photos, saying it was inappropriate for someone with her fame and influence. This brings up an interesting point. People often expect celebrities to behave in certain ways. If they step outside those rules, it becomes a big story. Elizabeth Taylor's bikini photos remind us of how much attention and pressure famous women face, even for something as simple as enjoying a sunny day. Think about it for a moment. How would people react today if a famous actress from a well-known movie wore a bold swimsuit in private photos? Probably the reactions would still be mixed, but maybe less extreme. Society's views on women's clothing and self-expression have changed a lot. But Elizabeth Taylor's photos were proof that even back then, some people were starting to question old-fashioned rules. Interestingly, the photos also show a side of Elizabeth Taylor that many people did not see in her movies. On screen, she was dramatic, glamorous, and often serious. But in these pictures, she looked playful, carefree, and real. It is a reminder that celebrities have private lives that do not always match their public image. And this is what makes the story so fascinating. People love to see the human side of famous figures. These images gave fans a peek into her life off-screen, and that is part of why they are still talked about decades later. Over time, opinions about the photos have changed. What once shocked people now feels normal, even inspiring. Looking back, it is clear that Elizabeth Taylor was expressing confidence and freedom in a way that was rare at the time. She showed that it is okay to break rules and do what makes you happy, even if others disapprove. So, when people argue about whether the photos were too bold, it is worth remembering the bigger picture. These images are not just about a swimsuit. They are about a woman taking control of her image, enjoying life, and facing criticism with grace. Elizabeth Taylor's bikini photos remind us that societal rules can change, but courage and self-expression remain important. She dared to be herself in a time when many people were not ready for that. And maybe that is why we are still talking about these pictures today. So, next time you see a photo that surprises or shocks people, remember Elizabeth Taylor. She lived her life on her own terms, and even a simple moment at the beach became a story worth telling. Thanks for staying with us through this story. If you enjoyed learning about Elizabeth Taylor,